All right, so what we ended up doing in class today is we did a new mentor text. It's called Would You Ban Texting and Walking? This is a text that you're going to want to get when you get back to school. You will be able to find this in Schoology in the mentor text folder. I'm going to do that right after I get done with this video. So if you are watching this video beforehand, it'll be there soon. Anyway, so this is the article that we were reading. And what we did with it is we read part of it together as a class. And we talked about ethos, pathos, and logos, just like you did with Mrs. Oathout. And if you need a refresher on that, this is what you guys did in class. So if you need to pause this and look at it, you can. This will also be in the one of the folders in Schoology, so you can find it there as well. But this is the ethos, pathos, logos notes. So ethos is trust. That's when it's by an expert, celebrity, influencer. It's a brand. It's likability. And then pathos is for emotion. If there's a short story, if there's connotation, if there's questions. And then logos is facts or logic. So there's data, there's graphs, there's numbers. And so what we ended up doing is we had our resource notebook open like this. And we went through and we started to read this text. And as we were reading, what we did is we made notes as to what each thing was or what we found in it. So like this part right here. This is talking about, it's a short story that could have happened. And so we put a P for pathos because it deals with emotion. There's different facts in here. And so that's logic. So we underline it, put an L for logos. And then what they had, so we did this first part as a class, and then the rest of it, they had to read by themselves. And then they had to put down what is ethos, pathos, and logos within it. So if you have a printer or something and you go into the mentor text folder, you can print it out and you can do that. Or you can just put it on a separate sheet of paper and you can just write out kind of part of what you said and say, hey, this, like right here, you could write down in 2014, a 14-year-old boy was seriously injured. You could write that down on a separate sheet of notebook paper and then just put an L next to it. So that way we know it's logos. Or you could have different boxes. So however you want to figure out how you can kind of show me what you know, the difference between the ethos, pathos, and logos with this particular article. However you do that is fine. You'll just need to send it to me as a picture or show it to me when you get back. So that's what that's going to be. Okay. So you read this text. After you read this text, what I had the kids do is they had to go and find a new mentor text and write a new central idea. So obviously the ones that we have done together already are on page 44 in your resource notebook. So I didn't want them to do one of those because obviously we've already done those. So you needed to choose a different one. A lot of the kids ended up using this one and they wrote a central idea for this text that they read. And what they did is they wrote it on page 45 and then they shared it with me. Now, if you're at home and you don't have your notebooks, you can write on a separate sheet of paper. You can email me it and I will get back to you that way. But I do need to know that you did it. Okay, so you're taking this text or a new mentor text and writing the central idea using that outline. The outline we talked about, again, if you need to pause this, you can, but the outline is this right here. And then some examples are these. So if you want to pause this video and just kind of look at these again, that's fine. But then you will need to create a central idea for a new text. Okay? All right. Then after that, what we ended up doing the rest of the time is I had them working through their green checklist thing that we have. And so they ended up, I'm trying to find one, sorry. They ended up using that checklist and kind of just going through, starting with the first thing, second thing, third thing. So I'm going to show you this one really quickly, just to kind of remind you what you're doing. So anyways, you should have already completed this one. That's what we did together as a class. And then you're going to move on to complete the response for practice 1. That is in Schoology. You're going to find that in your assignments folder here, Central Idea Summarizing Practice. And when you open it up, it looks like this. It looks like it's done, but it's not. This right here is the central idea, and we just have the central idea there. Down here in the green is summarizing. It says first sentence is your central idea above. So this was copied and pasted here. This is not done. What you need to do in this green box is you need to go and finish the summarizing. And how you're going to finish the summarizing is you're going to go back to, and if you need to pause this to see it because we did this in class and you don't have it right now, you can pause. and you can look at this. But this is something that we talked about in class. This is the article that we were doing, Vampires of the Deep. We said it was an article, problem solution. We came up with all these different things to kind of go along with the attributes of a strong response. So this is something, and I'm going to zoom in, that way you have it just in case if you don't have this piece of paper in front of you. So if you need to pause, you can at any time to look at this. But this is what you're trying to include within your summary. So your job is to go to this assignment and finish the summary. You have the central idea, but now you're taking the information that is here, this part right here, these are the details. You are making these into sentences, along with this one to be the last sentence, to create your central idea. So your central idea on this assignment should be this first sentence, your summary. That has the first sentence is the central idea, and then you're going to have 2 to 4 more sentences to create a summary of the entire piece. Okay. When you get done with that, you need to make sure that you email me to let me know that it's done. I will go in and I will check it. I will probably make a comment on it, and then I will email you back. And then from that point, that's kind of like my way of checking in with you. So again, if you kind of look back on the checklist, it says right here, complete practice 1. You'll complete it. You should have checked all that kind of stuff. This part right here, after you gathered all those items, but this part right here, it says check in with teacher. If you email it to me and I get back to you on there with a comment, that's me checking in with you. So you don't necessarily need to have my initials. What you could do on there instead is you can just say emailed and then say comments. Okay, so that's just something that you could write on there just to remind me and yourself that you were gone that day, or that you're on AMI. You could even do this if you wanted to. You could even write AMI and then just make sure, you didn't see that. AMI and that you emailed and I made comments on it. So that's something you could to kind of keep both of us on the same track, and that you have that. And then after I get back with you on that, you're going to move on to the second one. The second one looks like this. So when you get into it, your second practice, it says find in this resource notebook, or in the resource, find this, in resource notebook on page 45. And so essentially what that's going to look like is on page 45, if you're home or not home, whatever that looks like for you. If you're AMI or not. But what you're going to do is you're going to go to page 45 and you're going to find something that I initialed. I know Return the Buffaloes, I've already initialed for most of you. Some of you have others. If you're at home, though, and don't have anything initialed, you can choose one of these because one of these will also work. We've already done this one. That was the first practice. So if you wanted to choose one of those, you can also do that for your second practice. And what you will do is you're going to create or go to the brainstorming section first. So you're going to go here. And then in this section, you're going to do exactly what we did up here. You're going to brainstorm. You're going to think, okay, well, here's the title. This is what kind of format it is. Maybe it is problem solution. Maybe it's an interview. I don't know which one you're choosing. So you'll have to kind of look at that. Then you need to make sure over here it says 2 details. I know you can't see that very well, but 2 different details that support within the text. So again, that's what we did up here with this one. These were important to the text and kind of made the text continue to go. And so down here, you're going to end up doing the same thing with the article that you chose, as well as having an end sentence that is like an overview of the last part of the text. Okay? And so then after you have this in, you're following the same process. You go back over here. You are now done. Make sure to look at comments that I made for you either online or on the piece of paper. And then you're going to complete that practice 2. So after you do the brainstorming, you go back to practice 2 and you put all that stuff in here. And then when you are done, you're going to go back to this page. And again, cross off that you did all the things, get those things, and then you're going to email me again that you got it done, or show it to me when you get back to class. Because you cannot move on to your next practice until I have talked to you, or if I have initialed, or if I've made comments on your assignment online. Okay? All right. So again, this is kind of a whole lot of work time for you. But again, make sure you're communicating with me when you get done with something so that way I can look at it, so that way you can also move on. All right? All right. Good luck.